Hey guys, it's the Mob Piper here. I'm just going to try to adjust this a little bit. I can't seem to get a good setup for indoors for my phone yet. But whatever, we'll get there. So anyway, I just wanted to do a second video response as well. There's a couple things I didn't really want to hit on in the first video response because I didn't want it to be like a 30-minute long video. A couple of the things that I read or I heard somebody talking about, it might have been Maritime Piper himself, talking about scribes and them copying stuff down. While yes, humans are fallible, we make mistakes even in simple copying things down. Something that most people don't know about the Hebrew culture is they took that job as a scribe very, very, very seriously, to the point where I believe they said that they would have one scroll that they would copy from, and they would have like 6 different people copying at the same time. And if there was one mistake, they made sure to go ahead and burn and completely destroy the flawed copy. I don't know how long that lasted or, stuff like that. All I know is you can go ahead and you can look at the Dead Sea Scrolls, something that was buried, I believe, in the hundreds AD, roughly when they were trying to escape the wrath of the Roman Empire. They buried the scrolls. And you can look at the manuscripts they have from there and look at what we have written. And 2,000 years later, or 1,800 years later, it's still the same thing. There's nothing different. They might have a punctuation spelling error or a name spelling error, but it's pretty much, the experts say it's like dead accurate with what they said. There's something else. I forget what I listened to. I really should start taking notes. I'm not real sure. I did watch the Bagpipers' second response, and he was talking about like the ether and stuff like that. From the foundation, the belief was the Earth was flat. So they believed that there was a dome over it. Every single culture, I mean, even Norse mythology has Yggdrasil straight up their world tree, Yggdrasil, and then it has Midgard, and then it has the dome over everything. Even so much so that they said the cap of Ymir, or the skull of Ymir, the frost giant, made the sky. Every single culture has that type of understanding. So him talking about, the waters above and the waters below, that makes sense. I mean, the Bible talks about, in the Genesis account, that he made an expanse between the two waters. And then you have later on it being able to rain for 40 days. That makes sense to me if there was some type of canopy barrier that was, one, holding the water up there for a 40-day rain period. A reason why humans were actually able to live, or recorded living, like 900 years. There'd be a protective layer from radiation and stuff like that, being able to penetrate and actually damage our bodies. Now, our life expectancy is about 100. You could see after that flood, the plateau of 900, and then all of a sudden it went down and it capped off at like 100. That's more faith, but there really is no, you can't really deny that. I mean, you can, but it's just one of those things where it's more of a faith issue than anything else. I personally believe it. Now, I'm not a conspiracy theory nut. I do like listening to conspiracy theories, but like something where science just, science is funny. When, you have the science and religion and everybody thinks the Earth's flat, and then all of a sudden science comes along and says, no, it's round. Now science and religion are butting heads, and then finally, moves up, and religion will go with it, and okay, now everything's... So here's like something I'm not getting. So let's just say this. Here is the Earth. Alright, if you're standing here, every mile is 8 inches squared in the drop off. I'm sorry, I'm drawing off the thing. 8 inches dropped off. Now, I'm not saying in any way, shape, or form that the earth is flat. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying that maybe science is not as smart as they say they are. So if it's 8 inches squared every mile, why is there recordings of, or why is a naval ship 40 miles out in the ocean able to paint a target for a Tomahawk missile? 40 miles. So 8 inches squared over 40 miles. I'm not even going to do the math. That's a lot. There should be no reason why a laser should be able to wrap around the curvature of the Earth 40 miles away over the ocean. You got waves to deal with. You have the curvature, stuff like that. So it's one of the things where maybe science is not always 100% accurate. And there's room to look at these things and say, hey, maybe we're wrong. But scientists don't want to do that. Scientists say that this is fact. I've already talked about laws and the difference between the laws and the theories, thermodynamics, and then you have the theory of evolution or the Big Bang Theory and stuff like that. You're not there. You can't test it. You can't see it. Nobody knows for sure. It's not recorded, anything like that. So it's like, you don't know. So it's just one of those things. They have videos on YouTube now. It's crazy how we've gotten into the digital age, where technology became so advanced that somebody on the opposite side of Michigan, Lake Michigan, there's a video. I don't know if anybody else has seen it, but I've actually seen it. So if this is very, very crude drawing, but so this right here is Lake Michigan. So this is actually Michigan here, and then Michigan's up here over here, and then this is Illinois, right? So somebody was actually standing here in the X, and Chicago is over here at the dot. That's over 40 miles away. And somebody was able to stand here and zoom in across a beautiful day and see Chicago. Now they say, oh, it's the refraction of the skyline, or the city over the water, but the experts are looking at it and they're like, no, there's no way that can be, because if it was, the image would be flipped upside down, and it's not flipped upside down. So it's just like one of those things where it's like, well, maybe science is a little wrong. Maybe there is a reason why people fight against science so much. It might not necessarily be a religion type issue, but you gotta understand where it's kind of like if science says something, and then like the atheists only take up a portion. So like most of the people are religious, whether they want to say like they're hardcore religious or not. There's always going to be that science versus religion type aspect, whether it be Christian, Mormon, Muslim, and Hindu, whatever. It's always going to be a religion versus science. And while science has made many advances, I think they hold too much authority to just expect whatever they say to hold truth. And I think a lot of time they're actually wrong. And why are they wrong? Why, if the facts don't add up or something's wrong, why don't they address it? It doesn't make any sense. Yeah, we just got to we got to research everything. We got to look at everything, whether you're religious or not. Just look at it, As far as the religion aspect goes, I am a Christian. So it's just one of those things where, for me, I look at everything to try to defute Christianity. I really haven't found any type of info that kind of like rocks my core belief system. And at the end of the day, it's almost kind of like Even if I was wrong, if I spent my whole life not murdering, not stealing, you know, being a good person, and I was wrong, and I end up becoming nothing, what did I lose? But if I spent my same life not caring about any of that, and I was wrong on the aspect that Christianity is right, and there is an afterlife, and I'm wrong, what then have I lost? That's my line of thinking when it comes to religion. It's just sometimes the gamble's just way too big. I know people who are just like, they're atheists, but like maybe they just, I don't know, maybe they just gave up. Maybe something shook them to their core. Like I said, I've listened to astrophysicists and engineers and astrologists who are Christians who take the same information and they say it's very, very easily proven that there's a God. Where then you have the same people who are also astrologists saying, no, there's no, this disproves God. How do you have two set of people going ahead and saying two different things looking at the same info? Most of the time, the person who says that it's proof that there isn't a God, or it doesn't say there is a God, is most of the time because they're looking at it with a poor understanding. Oh well, the Big Bang Theory. This can't possibly be. It's just that's what it is. One other person, I think the bagpiper actually was talking about the day period. In the Hebrew is the earliest language we actually have for the Judeo-Christian. Obviously, it's Judeo. They actually have their words mean, or their symbols. They have the little symbols. They actually have numerical meanings. They have multi-word meanings. So, case in point, the word Adam in Hebrew actually means man. There's always a dual meaning to something. So when you look at the Hebrew of the creation account, the word day, and they have multiple different meanings for the word day or a time period. The word day they use actually literally means a 24-hour period. So I've actually heard Christians say, one day is 1,000 years because, back here it says that one day for us is like 1,000 years and 1,000 years like one day. Look, all I know is they say it takes one day. If he meant literally anything else, why wouldn't he just say, record this? Or why would they not write what they meant? They're not stupid. I personally think we're stupider. Yes, technology has gotten better, but you take a look outside and you can be like, oh my God, people these days are just so retarded. Like, I don't even understand how the heck they just have no common sense anymore. They have no understanding. There's a difference between knowledge and wisdom, and a lot of people have knowledge because they had the technology of the phones. Nobody has any wisdom anymore. And I personally believe that as a culture, as the human race progresses, our technology increases, but we are actually getting stupider. I personally believe that we were closer towards perfection. And when I mean perfection, I mean Adam and Eve. The closer to perfection that we were, the smarter we were. I mean, you look at the pyramids and people don't even know how the heck they made them. Now, I believe I know a good explanation for the pyramids and how they built them because I've watched a couple different things that made absolutely 110% that they were 110% made by humans, not aliens. And they didn't have to make these giant ramps or giant twirlings, stuff like that. I think they were smarter. The fact that they were able to make aqueducts in Roman times line up perfectly starting from two different ends, stuff like that. It's just they had an understanding of stuff that we don't have anymore, and it's just we get farther along in the timeline from perfection, we're just dumbing down. And yeah, we have make technological advances, but it's almost like I don't know. But I was just touching on a couple things. I'm gonna have to watch more videos and actually take notes next time, because like I said, I personally I love researching everything. I love watching debates. I love looking up what I'm going to be talking about before I talk about it. That way I don't make an ass of myself. So that's just something about me. I mean, if you are atheist, that's there's no hard feelings towards you. I don't. You can believe what you want to believe. I personally believe what I want to believe, and and that's when you have that type of respect for somebody. That's where harmony is. It's when you have people who are just like, I'm an atheist, so I'm going to attack the Christian values as much as I can just to get rid of something. That's when disharmony comes into place, and that's what drives me nuts. But as long as you respect me, I'll respect you. There's certain things I believe in that go against other people, but to me, I've come to the understanding that one sin is not worse than others, and that I'm definitely a sinner. So I really don't have any room to point out your sins. So I'm not going to sit there and say, yeah, I'll rally to your cause and help you with these particular issues, but I just love the respect that we have. I just ask that we keep the respect. I really like these type of responses and conversations. So let's just keep it going. I'm enjoying listening to some of them. I've only heard a few of them. I know there's probably more out there, but only a few I've seen. So anyway, I hope you guys had a great weekend, and I hope you guys have a great week.